to give you guys a warning right here and now. This isn't going to be my usual take on video, but I might as well just address something right here now. The following video has a warning right now, so I'm going to say this right here and now. If you don't like the ableism or any of these slurs that are going to be following in this video, I either proceed with caution or click off, because honestly, this video is not going to be one of my pretty ones. But given the context of what I've been witnessing lately, I'm going to have to say it's right here. It's not going to be a pot shot, but it's something that I need to address right now. So without further ado, let's talk about those peaches. Let's go. Now, it's pretty clear to my audience that, as someone who's been doing take-ons for a while, this should come as no surprise though. Back in February 5th of 2024, this year, I did a series known as Flamingo's Take-Ons. So if you're new to my channel, here's what I mean by Flamingo's Take-Ons. Basically, it's a series of different users on YouTube who, for the most part, are getting called out for what they have done either behind the scenes or something along those lines though. Now, I'll admit, I'm not here to defend anybody here, but I'm not here to bully them either. In this case, I'm here to tell you what I think about these users and so on and so forth, because honestly, it's too eyebrow raising for doing so. So let's go over the users that, shall we? Well, leave a link to the playlist in the description below if anything to judge by. And the following users I talked about were Madeline Hatter T, a user who started grooming kids all because her father left her. Gee, what a tragic Naruto backstory. I'm sure Naruto would be proud. Then I covered Robbie Animator 2002, a user who has a foot fetish, stalking problem, and so many other problems along the way though. If you're part of the Go Anime community, you probably have heard of the guy, but honestly, it's too eyebrow-raising for me to take notice of that though, so you can draw your own conclusions there. Then I taken a look at Star Giant Productions, which is probably admittedly my most favorite popular video out there because, well, let's be honest though, I could tell you in the detail, but I'll just leave you guys leaving in that when I show the playlist in the description. And she's not someone I would have anyone associated with. Not kids, not teenagers, not adults, not anybody. So for your own conclusions there with Rip though. Then there's also Bathley Art Time, another user who for the most part got terminated no less than a week and yet started harassing individuals because boo-hoo, I'm so sad for my life, I guess. And we also got Roku-kun, the founder of Go Anime user who's still getting away scot-free because of violence in his actions in his grounding videos, because he thinks for some reason these cartoon characters, Dora, Caillou, and Little Bill, are nothing more than just, well, worse than Hitler. Yeah, try telling that to the nostalgic out there. And we also got Snail Kit, a cyber bully who keeps stalking one of my closest friends, and as well as trying to bully them in the process by putting them in their about page, saying that they hate them. Okay, I don't know how it works with the about page of what this works though, but I'm just gonna say this right here and now, this is not okay in any stretch of the means. And finally, we got Loud Convoy, who I will admit, while I do admit I'm not really a stun for this video, it's really no surprise that a lot of these people actually like the video though. But it's also worth pointing out that I'm sort of not proud of that video. I'll keep it up for you guys to watch though if you want to watch it for yourselves though. But even with that said, however, I'm still not gonna prosper into doing so. Now with all that said, with all the Flamingo Take on episodes I've so far, it's time for me to talk about a user by the name of Hopeless Peaches. Now, I know what you're thinking from some of the people who heard of this guy. You can't be serious, Flamingo. This person is what thinks that may have gone to the controversy. Are you for real? Considering that I've talked about so many other users on Flamingo's take on this one should be as no surprise to you at any stretch of the means. Hell, even everybody has done it. What can you possibly add to the conversation? Well, to that I say I'm only here to tell you guys what I think, and what's more, I need to address this while I still can. What I think what Peaches did was still wrong. I don't side with him or anything, and what's more, I'm not here to give you a further grasp on that anyways. But I'm here only to tell you guys what I need to tell you, and honestly, that's really what I can say though. So if you really don't like what I have to say here, I wouldn't recommend watching the video any further though. Now with that said, however, let's get started on Hopeless Peaches. For those who don't know who Hopeless Peaches is, well, that's what we're getting into, and spoiler alert, the Senate will be described here, but again, I'm only telling you guys what I personally think, and I don't want any guys thinking that I'm only doing this for shits and giggles. This is a serious video, and I don't want anyone thinking other ways around about the border, so let's get started. Are we good? Okay, let's get started. So for those who don't know, Hopeless Peaches was a user on YouTube who was part of the ACC. What's the ACC, you ask? Well, it's basically the art commentary community, a community where, well, artists usually go ahead and do their art commentary on fellow users. If you've heard of Hopeless Peaches, you probably already know who he is anyways. But however, he didn't start off with just artwork though. He started off as someone who did music videos, and until he privated them until then though. He was also known as Rosie the Rascal until he transitioned into the name of Aaron. And while I'm not going to use the name Aaron for obvious reasons for myself though, I'm just going to call him Peaches so it can be less confusing to the people around it though. So as such though, when Peaches started doing the art commentary, this was around 2015 or so when he started doing his channel. I say this as someone who's been doing a lot of history homework lately though, and it's pretty clear to me that a lot of the users here are breaking down into so many sessions as is that could have been easily avoided when possible though. Now I will say though, when it comes to Peaches though, I had a little bit of history with him instead though. Not personally, but something that I thought I'd bring up on the table when it comes right down to it though. You may know this guy for calling out on Creepshow Art, another art commentary who vanished off the internet, and I'm not going to describe about her because that's not what this video is about. But one thing I can say about her is that she was one of those users that I didn't know anything about, but for the controversy standing with it though, I'm not going to go any grasp on it. However, while a lot of people say this was their introduction to Peaches, mine was actually a little different from that. My introduction to Peaches was when he was doing a reaction video on Mr. Enter when he was talking about turning red. Now, I'm not going to go into lolcows here or anything, but I thought I'd say that just to make it clear for my folks and audiences as well, though. And I think it's only pretty clear to me when it comes right down to it. I'd rather not talk about that video in detail because that's not what this video is about. Also, for those who are going to think about me putting Mr. Enter on the take-on list, no, I'm not putting him on the list for obvious reasons, as there is, though. Now, as you can tell from there, though, Peaches had, well, while he did do some kind of reaction videos every now and then, he did have some sort of thing going on for it as well though. And honestly though, I didn't mind his commentary things that much though. From what I can tell though, he had a lot of things going for it. You may also know Hopeless Peaches for also collaborating with Loud Convoy, and like I said, I'm not going to go into detail with that though as yet, but it still has yet to prosper in what's going on here. One thing I can say for you guys is that when doing this video, I'm gonna probably get a lot of heat for this, but what I have to say is not a pot shot. It's just me telling my side of what I think about this whole thing. And I know some of you guys are thinking, well, everyone else has talked about it. Well, to me, I have to say, though, I'm not taking any pot shots. I'm only here to tell you guys what I personally think, and I'm not here to make any decisions. You're free to believe whatever you want, though, guys. I'm not here to deny that, though. But what I am, first and foremost, is, well, someone who's talking about Peaches, and someone who's not perfect in any stretch of the meaning. I'm just telling you guys what I think, and that alone should be enough, and that's it. Okay, so one thing's for sure, though, when it comes to the Peaches, however, I didn't really watch too many videos with the guy. I mean, don't get me wrong, I have seen other videos besides the Mr. Enter reaction video, the Creepshow Art fiasco, and so many others along the way, though. One thing's for sure, though, is that this user has to have as well as a reputation on as well as some other videos, though. I will say there were only very few videos I watched on him because, well, mostly working and all that stuff. But the other videos I watched were mostly around the Coyote Lovely situation. Again, has a lot of stories behind it as well, though, and as well as the Camila Cueva video, which I think Queen Serafina did it a little better in my opinion, though I'm not going to go into detail with that here as well, so for your to write your own conclusions there, though. As I can tell, though, Peaches had a lot of things going for him as well, though, so I can at least say there were a lot of thoughts in the videos, and his artwork, well, I admit you could say it's nothing to some people. I will say it's actually pretty good from what I've seen from the videos before he deleted his channel. Yeah, it's time now to talk about his deletion on his channel. Now down in this here section, I will admit some people could make the argument that maybe I'm reading too much into it, and you might well say it. Maybe that's what it is, though. One thing I will say about Peaches, however, is that when it comes to the controversy surrounding him, I'm not gonna press any judgment here. One thing I will say about him, however, is that he also had a sort of reputation when it comes to something like this, though. I think it's about time I say this right here and now, though. When it comes right down to it, Peaches had as well as a lot of things going for him as well, though. I mean, aside from collaborating with other users, not just Loud Convoy, but other users as well, like, say, Serafina and the like, though, I think he was actually pretty decent for what it's worth, though. I think what also gets to me about him is that he also did have a lot of things with him as well, though. Now, I'm not part of the UK, and I can't really say that for sure, though, because he had a lot of things as well for a mathematics student and all that stuff. And let me tell you right now, as someone who doesn't really have math as their first subject, I can at least tell you that's really something to be proud of, though, even if he did have a little bit of a backstory behind it, though. I mean, I did watch that video occasionally, but I'm just saying that for the complicity of this here sake, though. However, what we're getting into requires something that's odd. Now, I know this is gonna require going off topic for a bit, but let's talk about the one part of this here session that was, well, I wouldn't say session, but the entirety of Peaches and Lio that's been surrounding all this time, though. It's time to talk about the elephant in the room. The 4-hour Cinecall with Rosa Rey Ramsey. Now, before you say anything, I get some people are going to ask me if I'm going to be defending her. No, I'm not here defending Rosa. I'm not here to defend Peaches. I'm not here to defend Rebecca, Lio, or hell, even fucking Nekopon for herself. No, I'm here to tell you guys what I personally think, and I don't want anyone jumping down my throat when I say this otherwise. So if that bothers you, then I proceed with either caution or just skip this part entirely. So let's see what lies in store, though. Okay, so one thing you need to know about the Rosa Rey Ramsey call is that there were calls even before that. For those who don't know who Rosa Rey Ramsey is, well, basically she is a user on Twitter, or at least I think she formerly used on Twitter. By the time I'm writing this video, I could be wrong. She has privated the videos, and after that, I don't know what she's been doing lately, though. But from what I've heard, she's been bedridden, though, so I can't really say how I feel about this now right there. So let's get on to business here. For those who are wondering, Rosa Rey Ramsey was a Twitter user who happened to be part of tech channel. Right before then, she was also threatening to also put in someone from the name of Zaid Magenta who was having a different opinion on Star Wars. What the fuck? Okay, I'm just gonna say this right here right now. Does it really bother people to have opinions on Star Wars? I get that fan bases, not just Star Wars, but any fan base out there is gonna go crazy and up in arms, but I'm only telling you guys from my perspective, because trust me, it's gonna probably bite me in the ass at the end of the day. So major cropping pop tops or something like that. Anyways, I think what really gets to me more about this is that Rosa really was stalking Zaid for a while, and as such, though, Lio told her enough was enough, because honestly, she wanted him on internet horrors. And honestly, though, as someone who's watched internet horrors, I can very well tell you that's not how internet horrors works. For those who aren't aware, internet horrors was a documentary series that's about people who did something malicious intent, like, say, abusing people, stalking people, harassing people, and so many others along the way, though. Now, one could argue that maybe she just wanted to see what was Zaid Magenta around it for, and honestly, like Peaches beforehand, I know Zaid his channel, all because he wouldn't and stop threatening people and stuff like that. And I know the backstory behind it. I'm just telling you guys for the quality of this video. Okay? Okay. So one thing I will say though is that one thing I can honestly say though about Peaches is that he wasn't in this call. Oh my god, what happened there? I think what really bothers me is how they think that the 4 hour Center call happened first. No, it was Techno's call that happened first, and at this this was when Rosa wanted to have Zaid Magenta to go on internet horrors, all because of a different opinion on Star Wars. Look, I'm not here to judge anyone who likes Star Wars. I'm not a Star Wars fan myself. I'm more of a Trekkie than anything, so feel free to hate me in the comments if you want to. One thing I will say about this, however, that bothers me more is that this is what Rosa wanted to have Zaid on internet horrors for, just because he has a different opinion of Star Wars? What? I mean, maybe I'm reading too much into it though, but I don't think that was the intent here though. No doubt that in my mind I'm asking myself, what does this have to do with being on internet horrors though, just because they have a different opinion on Star Wars? Okay, let me just say this. If I have an opinion on Star Wars, am I gonna get arrested for that? Or gonna call the police on me? I mean, yeah, call me the police on me. I'm sure this Flamingo can get arrested for saying something. They say, oh, I don't like Star Wars. Okay, I could be frantic and I could be out of my shitting mind though, but come on now, people. Did you really think I would buy into that? Oh, but he harassed somebody. Okay, I didn't watch the Last Jedi video from Zaid Magenta's channel before he deleted entirely his channel, but I'm just saying this as somebody who hasn't really known what Zaid said though, all because autistic or lunatics or something. I don't see how that's a threat. I mean, I'm autistic myself, and yes, I will say this again in another part of the video, but I'm just saying this for myself though, guys. Okay, so one thing I will say though is that after we found out that Rosa was actually having a friend by the name of Star Giant Productions, yes, I did do a take on her, in case it wasn't obvious from the beginning. And what really bothers me, at least according to my synopsis, is that how much people say that, oh, because Rosa is mentally damaged and stuff like that. Now, I'm gonna go ahead and diagnose her about what kind of autism she has, because I've been with many people with autism as well though. I know I've been with my younger sister, I've been through with a bunch of kids at my ages, and what's more, I know that there's just one side of autism, so I can't really say that for sure. Now, Lyle did say that she was on the spectrum, so I will say that, but I guess that's really what led to the 4 hour call, right? No, because afterwards though, Rosa continually starts still stalking Zaid after blocking Rebecca, then she unblocked her and all that stuff. You know, it's a jumbled mess when you realize if you block somebody, you block them and then you start unblocking them because, okay, I'm just gonna say this right here and now. I can't really believe I'm saying this out loud in my fucking head as much as I have to admit though. You wanna know why Rosa was friends with Rebecca Starlight? I swear to God, you guys are not ready for this when I tell you. Okay, so you know how in the LGBT community, especially ironic I'm doing this video because, well, Peaches himself is transgender now. Yeah, I think what really gets to me is how much people don't really think that could have been the context of that anyways. So what made Rosa be friends with Rebecca in the first place? Well, it's gonna be hard to say this out of my fucking mouth, but all because Rebecca is part of the LGBT. Yeah, so let me see if I have this correct. You're saying to me you're friends with somebody who's part of the LGBT? Is that all it takes to be a friend? Well, I'm part of the LGBT. You're gonna be my friend? I mean, I'm bisexual. Please? Please? Yeah, I think it's about time I start saying this right here and now. It doesn't matter what community a person's in. It could be part of the LGBT community and so forth, and you only want to be friends because they're part of that community? What the fuck? I mean, maybe I'm reading too much into it. You might well say it. Maybe I am, though. But I can't really ignore this anymore, though. What does that have to do with being a friend? That's like me saying that since some of my fans are furries, I'm just gonna say to them, yeah, I'm only your friend because you're a furry, and that's about it. What kind of a shallow excuse is that for a friend? I mean, I'd be rolling in my non existent grave by now. You mean to tell me that's how you're friends with somebody because they're part of the community in of itself, though? That's like saying that aside from the furry community, that's like saying that some of my fans who are Pokemon fans, I'm just gonna say, no, I can't be your friend because you're not part of the Pokemon community. Now I know you're probably thinking I'm taking this out of context, but what the hell? After that, however, after realizing that she forgave Crimson Mayhem for not defending a child, for not for so, not, oh my god, I'm stumbling my words. I'm so sorry. She's forgave Crimson Mayhem for not turning in Toon Critic. It's here where I have to say this right here and now. It's where she did spill out Necropon, and according to Rosa, she said it was 4 days. Now, I made a mistake in the Lio video because I thought she wasn't a mod, but given the research I've done, yes, Rosa was a mod in the server, and this is when her and, I'm not gonna say any names here, but her, Rebecca, an anonymous user for anonymous reasons, I'm not gonna say it out loud though, she decided to get this, just to go ahead and go after the person that lied, all because they were abused or whatever. Yeah, because when I'm going after someone, I go after the liar more than the predator. Seriously, guys, if you want to go after someone, go after the predator and not the liar, because there's liars every day out there. If that's the case, you could be catching them all you want, though. I guess what I'm trying to say here is that it's really boggling to my fucking mind as is, though. After that techno call, however, this is when the Lio convoy call was admitted, and yeah, a lot of people say it hurts to watch now, which I'm not gonna answer their questions because, let's be honest, I'm not here to answer anyone's questions about what do I think about this whole situation. I'm just here to tell you what I think and what I think alone. I'm not here to make your decisions. I'm not here to tell you guys, hey, why don't you make the decision for me, because I'm not doing that. I never make decisions for people, and it's your choice what to think about this whole thing for yourself. So there you have it. Okay, so one thing is for automatically sure is that after all of this, however, Lio decided to discuss Rosa in his call with some other users. This was before Coyote was outed, so he was there too, and so sometimes other users, though. I don't know who these other users are other than Lio and Coyote Lovely, so you can my own conclusions here if you want to. But after trying to discuss Rosa what happened, though, she just usually avoids the questions. And some people say to me, oh, because of autism and stuff like that. Motherfucker, I have autism too, and I'm able to question even if someone has 1 or 2 brain cells. And I think only by now you're starting to see a pattern here, because Rosa is mentally challenged and has autism and all that stuff, and yes, she goes through epilepsy. I will admit, I have met some people who went through seizures. I'm not gonna say who because I already said it in a few times in a few videos before then. But even with that said, however, I'm still have yet to ask, what does that have to do with her obnoxious behavior, what she did though? See, in case you guys don't know, which I've watched on Lazy Bed, whatever her name is though, whatever their name is entirely though, Lazy actually has said this with ableist, and honestly though, I'm not gonna say anything about this your call right there though right now, so wait for the session to be over and done with first though. Yeah, I think one thing's for sure though is that epilepsy, well, I admit, yes, that will cause memory loss. I'm not here to say what they do cause anyway, because I'm no medical expert. I can't firmly grasp on what happens though. So one thing's for sure though, after that, however, after going through Lio's channel, this is where the 4-hour call sentence happened though. Strap yourselves in because I'm probably gonna get killed after this episode. So let's get started. I think it's only safe to say when it comes to this here call, this is one case where I have to say something right here and now. Did anyone even read the title of this your 4-hour call video, or do I have to say this right here and now? Because the 4-hour call with Rosa was archived, and yet some people thought it was uploaded just this year. Look, when something's archived, that just means that the video is re-uploaded by somebody else, and I'd be hit or miss if I didn't say this right here and now, but yeah, apparently a lot of people think this call is atrocious, which one of the victims, I'm not going to say any names here, one of the victims was talking to Rosa, and yet for some reason we're supposed to get this out of the way while we still can. Okay, let me just say this right here now. What I've been seeing in my comments, the victim did come into my comment section. He did say that they did send screenshots to Rosa, and Rosa said that they were, lying the whole time. Like, are you for real? For real though, they gave you evidence, and then you say it's all fake? Like, it's not real? They're just lying? What does it take to take evidence from a person? No, but we're not supposed to side with the victims. Okay, let me just say this right here and now. I will admit the call was poorly handled. I will admit to that. But it's some another thing I need to address here. You could argue the call was poorly handled because, well, not only because a lot of users were going in attacking a disabled woman, though, but let me ask you this, though. How would you feel if some disabled woman, Rosa that being, go ahead and send death threats to this anonymous user who was starting to date Rebecca at the time? Like, really? It's bad enough that people like to defend Rosa, but it's bad enough you don't do the background behind it about what Rosa done. So, let me see if I have this correct. Let me see if I get this fucking straight. You defend Rosa for sending death threats to somebody, but when it comes to someone like Rebecca who's done far worse than ever before, you still wouldn't decide with her? I'm not here to defend anybody, hey, like Rebecca or Rosa, but that does scream agony to my head. Like, it doesn't matter if the person bullied or if any case harassed them. You mean to tell me you'd rather defend that person more that sent death threats, but the person who did more cyber crimes than anything else on the web, you mean to tell me that's better off to not defend? I don't know if I'm being a little delusional or anything, which I probably am because of how I'm talking right now, but it's pretty clear to me that you people like to defend someone who harassed somebody and said to eat their bloody corpse. Yeah. Apologies, people. Yeah, someone who says, oh, I hope you die and stuff like that, that threats. You mean to tell me that threat in itself is okay? But when it comes to someone like Rebecca, we're not supposed to defend her, though? Okay, I don't want to say this right now, though, but I wouldn't defend either one of those two anyways. Seriously, the victim who got hurt by Necropon is who I really would defend the most out of, though. These victims don't deserve to be hurt, and yet some people say to me that, oh, we should defend Rosa. Okay, back to Peaches, however. Yeah, I'm sorry if I took so long to do that Rosa session, but here's what I have to say about Peaches. What I will say about Peaches, yes, what he did was inexcusable. What he did was not helping. He did call Rosa the R word, the S word, and called her a lot of stuff that I don't even want to repeat for myself, because if I do, it's gonna hurt somebody, especially with autism and all that stuff. And I still have yet again, what the fuck does autism have to do with anyone's actions? Seriously, I have a younger sister with autism. I know people who have autism. I myself have autism, thank you very much. And yet, somehow we're supposed to let all of this slide? Okay then. I'm gonna say this right here and now. If I do shit like this, would you defend me if I went to cyber stalk somebody for having a different opinion on someone or something on the like, though, to have something done with those lines? Look, maybe I'm reading too much into it, and I get it. Some people are gonna say to me that that's different. I get that. But one thing that does bother me is how much people are willing to defend someone who death threatened somebody, cyber stalked someone, and yet we're supposed to find that all acceptable. Now, I will admit what Peaches did was inexcusable. For her, Rosa. That's what I mean by her, by Rosa. But honestly, what he was doing, while I admit, yes, he did do something that was bad enough already. One thing that bothers me about how Peaches did this is by bullying her back, which, yeah, that's not gonna help your case, because let's be honest, it's true what they all say. Two wrongs don't make it right. And I don't want to say this as in somebody who wants to defend Rosa. I'm not here to defend Rosa. I'm not here to defend Lio, Peaches, or those people. I'm here to tell you guys what I personally think, and honestly, if I were to defend people, I would defend, if any, one of the victims of Necropon. And yet, when the victim was trying to talk to Rosa, and while yes, he was kind of being a little harsh on his part on her, but I still have yet to ask why this has to be the one person that has to say it, though, because like I said, I did do research on these here videos before doing this, and I was kind of nervous when doing this video because, let's be honest, this video was going to give me a lot of heat anyways. And I'll be blunt though, I never expected myself to talk about Peaches into my take-ons. This was requested by the same guy who gave me Cloud Convoy, but even with that said, however, you're probably asking yourself, why talk about Rosa when this should be about Peaches? Well, it's mostly because I looked up to Peaches. Not just because what happened in the Senate, though, but also due to the fact of what happened, though. And from what I've heard from Just the Robots, Loud Convoy, and pretty much a lot of users, they really did some research about what happened, though. Unlike, say, Omnia and all the other, like, yeah, I'm telling you guys from my perspective, this shit's not okay. Whether it's due to the bullying or death threats, that's not really excusable in any sort of a fashion of way, though. What I'm trying to say here is that it doesn't matter if Rosa did death threats or cyberstalking to one user because they have a different opinion on Star Wars. What really happened was happened, sure, but even with that said, however, this still bothers me. People are willing to defend her over the victims. And before you say anything, yes, I know a lot of people are going to say, well, Rosa has a mental challenged sons or something like that, maybe, but I wouldn't get past that even if it was the case, though. So let me see if I have this correct, if anything to judge by. You're saying to me, someone who went after her and saw whether cyberstalk somebody who had a different opinion on Star Wars, God forbid they have an opinion on Star Wars, that's okay, but when someone did more of telling them what happened to them, especially with the Necrophon situation, you mean to tell me you'd rather defend her over him from being groomed? I don't even know what to say at this point, given the fact that Rosa's no innocent party either, even though yes, Rebecca did do more wrong stuff, that still has yet to answer my question. What the fuck does that have to do with anything? Oh, she has autism? Well, guess what? I have autism too, but I don't do disgusting, heinous shit like this. I don't go so far as to death threat people. I don't go so far as to stalk somebody. I don't even go so far as to threaten people. I keep my mouth shut, though, even if someone does piss me off. But when something pisses me off, though, yeah, I try to keep it to myself as limited as possible, but that's I can help, though. And yes, let's talk about Peaches, though, because honestly, I keep talking about Rosa enough in this video, shall we? When it comes to Peaches, I'm gonna say this right here and now. I'm not here to defend him. I mean, yeah, the whole ableistic slurs and all that stuff was pretty inexcusable. I will admit to that. But I still have one question, though. Why does Peaches get all of this anyways? And before you say anything, yeah, I get that he did some other stuff behind the scenes, like throw Lio under the bus, which I will admit, I do feel sorry for Lio for doing so. And before you say anything, no, I'm not going to take down the Lio conflict video, but I am going to tell you that you can watch it for your sake if you want to. One thing I cannot excuse, though, is how he abused a lot of other people. I've heard from Just the Robots, which I'll leave a link to that in the description below as well. But one thing's for sure, though, Peaches, however, for abusing people behind the scenes, and yet we looked up to him, proves that ACC could have a lot more toxic people than I realized. Now, I'm not here to judge about the ACC. I don't know what goes on in that community. I've never been part of that community, and frankly, if I were, though, my art would look like shit to the people behind it, though. I know a lot of people do like my art, but I'm still trying to improve on the artwork as well, though. Just saying. But what I'm trying to say here is that it bothers me that more people will defend anything that involves something worse, even if it means bullying. Look, I'm not here to give you guys my choice to give to you guys. This is your choice, what you want to make. You can free to choose your own decisions. You can free to like whatever comes on your mind. But when it comes to something like this, chances are there are going to be people that we looked up to and just go to a different route. And I'm not saying this as in for everybody. You're free to pause the video and think about what I think if you want to, but this is just coming from my perspective. I'm not here to tell you guys to do this because, well, everyone else has done it. I'm here to tell you guys what I personally think And if you want to believe what you believe, go right ahead. I'm not going to stop you. But what is going to stop me is from liking Peaches as a person, no. I mean, sure, I may not know him personally. I don't know what he's been doing after he deleted his channel, which was kind of funny when you realize that this was a few days before Rebecca deleted her channel, but hey, we'll kind of ignore the irony, if anything, though. But I guess what I'm trying to say is that, Peaches, I know you don't know me personally, even though I did comment on some of your videos. Not a lot of them, some. I will admit, maybe it's better off we will left alone. And I'd be hit or miss if I didn't say this, though. There are no words big enough to describe how much I didn't want to do this video. I'll be quite honest with you guys. This video was not something I wanted to do. It was not because of the controversy. It was not because I think that a lot of people will hate me. It's because I know this was gonna happen. I knew for a fact that a lot of people, myself included, who were gonna do something like this have to discuss what goes on though. But even with that said, however, this still makes me wonder, why do these people do such things like this? I mean, clearly they did something to do whatever they could though, but by the end of the day, that makes me realize it's all wonder though. You know, people tell me all the time that there are going to be people out there you look up to that turn out to be douchebags. And you know what? That's pretty sad, because I went through that. I'm not going to go into myself how much that hurts me, but I think what really hurts me more is how people were willing to defend someone who did something worse. Like, let me say this for the record. I'm not here to tell you guys to harass these people. I'm not telling you to bully them, threaten them, stalk them, or do anything for that matter like that. I think it's best if you leave these people alone and try to have them sort out on their way, because, like it or not, I think this is how the internet is. Now, I'm not saying that everybody on the internet is a bad person. That would be ludicrous for me to say. But what I'm saying is that we just don't know what hides underneath all of this. We don't know what's inside that eggshell or bad apple or anything like that. I guess what I'm trying to say is that even if I did do this video for what I could though, I'm not asking you guys to agree with me. I'm not asking you guys to disagree with me either, but what I am asking for is just to hear me out. That's all I'm asking for. And to prove that this makes it even worse, I still have more take-ons to go. Hopefully, when I do my poll, not just on the take-on, but like I said before, guys, I'll have you guys vote if you want to know what I have to say, though. Whether it's a take-on video, a writings video, literary podcast, or a Magical Girl podcast, or anything like that, I'll put them in the poll the next video I'll be doing. I hope to do a new video because, well, like I said, I didn't want to do this video because obviously it's been going on for God knows how long, and yes, I know that they still have more videos on not just Peaches but Lio as well. I just hope they could find their place and get help. Seriously though, they really need it. I mean, I'm not here to defend them or bully them or anything like that. I'm just telling you guys on my fun what to do with this, I guess. And I know I'm stuttering right now, but hey, what happens when you talk to someone who has a bad speech pattern? And I guess you could make the argument that maybe this could blow over. I really don't know at this point, because what I do know is that once this video goes up, like with Lio, I don't think I'm going to be proud of this video entirely. You can feel free to watch it if you like, but I'm just saying though. But with that said, I hope to do another video, and hopefully it won't be as heavy as this one. So, yeah, I guess I'll see you all next time. So with that said, thank you all so much for listening to what I have to say on this take on. Hopefully by the next video, it'll be a lot later when I do that poll. I don't know how long it'll be for the next video because I'm trying to be more sporadic with my videos. But with that said, thank you all so much for listening, and as always, stay Flamingo-tastic. See you around, people.